Hello all. Thank you for spending time with us today. My name is Grace Yuan. I'm leading the global marketing team of Power Products Division at Schneider Electric. I'm delighted to be with you today, and we will be sharing with you some big news about sustainability. Why we are all talking about sustainability these days? The answer is very simple, because the climate change, the climate crisis demand we change the way we live, the way we do business, and also the way we interact with each other. So as we kick off the program, I'm pleased to present to you the speaker of today, Marta Muniz, Senior Research Director and the Lead for Technology and Sustainability Practice at IDC. Rohan Kelkar, Executive Vice President of Global Power Products Division at Schneider Electric. Shanadeep Modak, Chief Marketing Officer for Energy Management of Schneider Electric. Sylvain Frede de la Frotte, Senior Vice President for Channels, Power Products Division at Schneider Electric. Welcome all, and thank you for joining us today. So thanks today, the big news is about sustainability. Maybe Rohan, I think it would be good for you to let us know what is the approach we take in Schneider for sustainability.
Absolutely, Grace. Sustainability is at the core of our purpose, culture, business, and really our operating model. We view sustainability as a responsibility and also an opportunity for us, our employees, our customers, our suppliers, and our local stakeholders. As an impact company, we have 6 long-term commitments at Schneider Electric. So it's a framework, not just a flash in the pan, so to speak. Act for a climate positive world, be efficient with resources, live up to our principles of trust, create equal opportunities, harness the power of all generations, empower local communities. So 6 different topics to really think about this systematically. We also have a clearly defined carbon pledge that is public and has been shared with our investors and shareholders. 2025 carbon neutrality in our operations with CO2 offsets. 2030 net zero carbon net zero CO2 in our operations with no offsets. 2040 end-to-end carbon neutral value chain, which is our scope 1, 2, and 3, with carbon neutral products, but also with with CO2 offsets. And then finally, by 2050, a net zero CO2 supply chain with no offsets. So obviously pretty ambitious, but something that is needed for us and our planet. Back to you.
Thank you, Rohan. This is really a very big target. So at Schneider, we're truly helping leading the way to accelerate progress and into a more sustainable future for our partner, our customer, our employee, and the community together. And then we strive to be the digital partner for the sustainability and efficiency. We work hand in hand with our partners every day, and believing their success is also our success. So this year we have some new excitement coming, and which is also the very first time for Schneider. So Shanadeep, can you please share with us a little bit about the big news?
I'm live. All right. Well, the big news is we do have something very, very exciting to share, but I'm going to keep all of you in suspense for just a few more minutes. First, let me hit some hard facts. Fact number 1 is that no company or country alone can help decarbonize the planet in order to achieve 1.5 degrees that can help curtail the global warming that we're facing in the climate crisis. Fact number 2, even Schneider, who's a leader in sustainability, has been able to save nearly 350 megatons of CO2 since 2018, with a goal of more than 800. Fact number 3, we've started already working with our 1,000 suppliers to help achieve this. But we're realizing that we have a so much bigger potential. We have a network of over 650,000 partners. And imagine what we could do if all of them were doing the same type of work that we're doing on our own. And this is the true opportunity that we have, and the impact could be massive. So, as a leader in sustainability, what we feel at Schneider Electric is we should create a new sort of program that can help really accelerate this. And we're launching today, I'm excited to share, we're launching the Schneider Electric Sustainability Impact Awards, our inaugural event. What's this about? It's about to recognize the positive impact achieved by partners, customers, and suppliers who embrace our sustainability-focused technologies, philosophies, and ambitions. We have an opportunity to really accelerate this, and we're going to start with partners in 2022 and expand into end users and suppliers even further into 2023. So it's really exciting, and Grace, would love to hear your thoughts.
Oh, that's really exciting. This inaugural awards program is really something very new to us as well. But I think we all want to know a little bit more into the details. So for example, what are the award categories, and then when this program will be launched, and then who can join? So maybe Siobhan, as the leader of the channels for Schneider Electric, can you disclose some details for us?
Hello, Grace. Yes, for sure, and with pleasure. So you know the Schneider Electric Sustainability Impact Award Program, 6 partners who prioritize decarbonization through innovation in order to drive meaningful and sustainable impact for their business, but not only for their business, for the planet as well, of course. So there will be 2 categories. The first one intending at recognizing partners who are already leading the change for themselves, already starting to drive the decarbonization of their own operations, while the second category will be focusing on partners advocating solutions to their own customers in order to support them in reaching their own sustainable goals, in fact. So as you know, Grace, we have many partners, many different type of partners coming from all over the world, probably more than 100 countries, as you know. So each of them will be able to register in one of our 14 regions and compete in either the first category, the second one, or even better, both of them. So regional winners will then advance to the global final, and a kind of international panel will assess them to nominate the global winners. Registration will start as early as 1st of July, so in a few weeks from now, and will end up by November, on the 25th of November, to be accurate. Regional winners will be announced on December, and then global winners will be announced on the first quarter of 2023. So, you know, we really encourage participants to showcase the remarkable work that they have already been implementing everywhere as Schneider Electric partners. And to be honest, we are extremely proud of being part of this ecosystem. On really, this partner award is a fantastic opportunity for us to celebrate them.
Means that we have to wait for almost 9 months, or 8 or 9 months to know who will be the final winner, right? So that's very exciting. And then as I hearing from you, Siobhan, I think one of the messages very important. Actually, decarbonization includes the carbon emissions saved for your own operation, and then also very important is the saving from your clients, your customer, the people who you are dealing the business. And I think that really requires a good strategy in place, and also the actionable plans. Marta, because you are coming from the industry, the leading industry analyst, and then you are working on the sustainability for more than 20 years. So what is your recommendation for our partners who want to take these actions, who want to be really the leader in this domain?
Thank you. Thank you very much for that, Grace. And thank you for having me here today. It's a real pleasure. So my main recommendation for all partners here today, it's really to embrace the sustainability opportunity, because it can actually deliver a competitive differentiation and the business value as well, beyond the initial cost efficiencies. But I guess my second recommendation is to not underestimate it either. So as Shonadip's point mentioned earlier, he is exactly right. No company can do these alone. No company can make a difference on their own. But as the ecosystem of partners, providers, and customers embraces more sustainable practices together, then the scalability and the benefits will be much more significant as well.
Marta, actually, when I listening to you, I have a few more questions in my mind. So, for example,
well, Marta, this is really great, and there's some.
Yeah, Shonadip, you're very eager to share with us some of the insight, but actually I have some more questions for you and for Marta. So the first is whether the company, they have already, prioritized sustainability as their, for their business. And then the next is to which level actually sustainability is as the business priority in the reality. So maybe Marta and Shonadip, because you are both working on that area for a long time, maybe you can share with us a little bit more.
Absolutely, Grace. It's a great point, and this is something that I often get asked as well. IDC research actually shows that sustainability is definitely a top business priority for organizations around the world at the strategy level. However, the challenge is that many organizations, many companies find difficulty in operationalizing and acting on the targets that they want to achieve. They don't necessarily know how to get there. The other aspect that we find as well is that lack of funding has traditionally been the number one barrier for organizations looking to become more sustainable. But we now see more practical challenges. So companies are at a stage where they might have initial budgets being allocated for sustainability initiatives, but they find themselves with more practical issues, such as the lack of internal skills and expertise on sustainability specifically, or even the need to prove the return of investment from their sustainability investments as well. Remember that about a quarter of organizations also struggle with establishing and identifying the necessary data inputs to set up and monitor their different sustainability goals and, such as decarbonization journeys, for example. So we see many companies looking at specific use cases and applications to help them deliver on these sustainability goals. So, for example, the CO2 emissions and monitoring and reduction is one of the top 3 areas where European companies are planning to invest in the coming year, actually. And in fact, over a third of companies in the region already have a decarbonization target, and the further third of organizations are planning on setting up one decarbonization target for 2022, actually. So this is where companies like Schneider Electric and their very strong ecosystem of partners have a very important role, actually, as they are part of that enablement phase. And perhaps this is the right moment to ask you, Shonadip. I know you've been looking forward to sharing this with our audience here today. How can organizations tackle their climate change goals through decarbonization?
No, Marta, it's really striking. And I guess when you think about decarbonization, you got to think about where the carbon comes from. And 80% of that carbon, of CO2, is coming from the generation, distribution, and consumption of electricity. So we have to revolutionize how that generation, distribution, and consumption is happening. And when I talk about revolutionizing, I want to bring in the concept of thinking about the revolutions that we've gone through since the last 250 years or so. If we start with the one we're all familiar with and we hear about from our school books, it's the Industrial Revolution. But it wasn't just one, we've actually gone through several. The first Industrial Revolution was about mechanization. But there was also another revolution that happened at the same time, which was the Electrical Revolution and the generation of power at the source to be used to help power the Industrial Revolution. Well, the second Industrial Revolution was then the mass production that occurred. And at the same time, we also were able to mass produce electricity, which was the second electrical revolution. The third revolution that occurred in industry and electricity was around the microchip, from a photovoltaic standpoint with electricity and solar panels, and from an industrial standpoint with PLCs, with automation in the factories. And then finally today we're at Industry 4.0, which is about using IoT, the Internet of Things, to help make things smarter and more efficient. Same thing is with electrical. We've got the concept of Electricity 4.0, which is about bringing digital and electricity together. What do I mean by that? Well, Digital makes energy smart, and electricity makes energy green. And that's a very powerful combination of the two, because once we can figure out how to harness the energy signature digitally from electricity, we can do some amazing things with it to help identify places to help reduce consumption and to help optimize electricity usage that can reduce and really bring down that 80% of CO2 that comes from energy that I just talked about. The powerful thing is that we actually have that technology today that exists both on the digitization side and on the electrical side. So that's really, really powerful. And I know, Marta, you've also done some very powerful research as well. And I'd really be interested to hear how you've learned about how end users are making sustainability considerations for themselves with respect to partners.
Excellent. Thank you. Thank you very much for sharing that, Shanadeep. So let me share a little bit of what we're finding and what our research shows. Primarily, what we see is that companies are embedding sustainability credentials in their RFPs for partner selection processes. And this is quite significant, actually, because we see as much as 50% of European organizations already including sustainability criteria into their RFPs, for example, which I think this really goes to show that sustainability is no longer a nice to have, quite frankly. It has become a fundamental differentiator for companies out there offering solutions and technology. And the other interesting trend as well that we have observed in customer behavior is how, for an increasing number of companies, sustainability is beginning to weigh as much as technical or price factors in the partner selection process. And it actually means that price and technical capabilities are no longer the sole differentiator. So with all of this, you also have to remember, of course, that sustainability is also seen as a very powerful enabler of trust and for organizations. In fact, around a third of organizations in Europe say that it is actually a matter of trust and reputation for their brand becoming sustainable. So we expect companies with with a strong focus on their brand and their reputation to be looking increasingly at sustainability in the coming years. But perhaps let me ask you here at this point, how is Schneider Electric enabling these for partners, and how are you playing a role in helping your ecosystem with the sustainability changes and the opportunities as well?
Marta, I'll take that question, and great question. And besides the exciting Schneider Electric Sustainability Impact Awards that we're announcing today, we're also doing things in two key focus areas. The first area is about our R&D and our innovation that we're driving. We're doing some really cool things, both on the software and the hardware side. If you think about software, we're getting into the design, build, construct space, and we have new construction management software made by RIB that allows us to measure in the construction process the amount of embodied carbon that's going into that. And if you think about how much waste is happening in construction today, if you can reduce that embodied carbon from waste materials, you can massively improve the way that you're reducing carbon as you're building and constructing buildings and industry. Number two is the innovation that we're launching with our products. We've got some incredible innovations with SM AirSet that has zero SF6 that helps enable the medium voltage switchgear to operate without any high-powered CO2 toxic environmental chemicals. The other one is FlexSet, which allows us to be able to install switchgear right at the source and make sure that we completely decarbonize the supply chain as we're installing this technology. Really cool stuff. The second area is how we're partnering with the industry itself. So just like we talked about our 650,000 partners, there's some really cool things that we're doing with companies like Walmart, with the gigaton PPA, power purchase agreement, across all their suppliers. We're doing the same thing also with PepsiCo, within their entire value chain that feeds into their finished products. BlackRock, big investment firm, also we're doing stuff to help enable their office buildings to measure and manage people coming in and out, optimizing the energy patterns for that. So some really cool things that we're doing in the industry that's scaling globally. So that's today. But Rohan and Sylvan, I know you guys are bursting to talk about what we can do in the future. How are we partnering for the future?
Sure, I'll take that one, Shonadeep. If we just take a step back and we listen to what Marta just told us and this conversation, people often say, is this a fad? Is sustainability flavor of the month, as some people like to call it? I think the absolute answer is no, and I'll tell you why. Uh, we have multiple forces that are coming together to really make this a center topic and a challenge for us to resolve as a community. First one, unfortunately, this has been put into focus with some of the latest geopolitical actions in Europe around Ukraine, and there is a heightened awareness of energy security, which creates a need for us to have and a moment for us to have that done in a sustainable way. If you just think about it, over 60% of the corporations have already made investment plans, and it's for two reasons. One is because they care. Two, their employees care. Three, their boards and investors cares. So if you go back and look at annual reports, there is increasing both pressure from the external markets, as well as an incentive and pressure from the internal stakeholders like our own employees that want us to be doing this. So we have the momentum now to really drive this at scale. The third piece, as Shonadeep, you were saying, is the technology. So there are things around technology that have evolved with IoT, with some of the things that, for example, we're doing at Schneider Electric, that really make this the right moment to make it affordable. Now, thanks to Jean-Pascal, I have to say, Schneider's been looking at this for over the last 10 years. We've been building the competencies, not just internally, but also you may know that we have a think tank, we have a consulting business to really understand how to operationalize this. So just to put it simply, climate change is bad for business, and climate action has to start with all of us. So to me, you bring this together, and now is the moment. Business leaders are aligned. There is a need from the market. There is a need from our shareholders and investors and our employees. Now, the third part is partners. If you think about Schneider and our philosophy of operation, over 70% of our business is done through partners in one form or fashion. So partnering for sustainability for us is not just an option, it is the way we work, and that is critical. So Sylvain, can you share with us a little bit more on how we act on this?
Yeah, certainly, Rohan. So, we have to acknowledge that we all generate carbon emissions in our daily operations to start with. So by understanding how our activities are impacting the planet, we can change the way we do business and start to implement the decarbonization of the economy. So the good thing is that many organizations have started already looking at their energy emissions, focusing maybe on energy consumptions, on sourcing. So that's great. That's a great start, I would say. But we do believe that this is not enough. We do believe that each of us should take care of the complete ecosystem, meaning supply chain and suppliers on one side, for sure, trying to reduce or eliminate carbon emissions from that side, but also taking care of all the value chain players sitting in between each of us on the end user customer, up to the customer itself, by the way. So the thing is, time to act is now. And in fact, looking at on listening to business leaders from everywhere, they're really concerned about climate change, and they feel more and more pressure coming from investors, shareholders, and even younger generation, by the way. And at a time where we all face fierce competition to attract talents, I do believe this should not be neglected at all. So the good news is that those same business leaders start to plan and budget for sustainability spendings. And guess what? This is a massive opportunity for business, for our ecosystem, and for partners in particular. So now we need to look at what are the key steps and the key pillars to undertake to start this journey for customers and for our partners. First, it starts with electrifying operations, switching from technologies using fossil fuels to technologies which are leveraging electricity as a source of energy. Number two, reduce the use of energy and improve efficiency. And this will probably come together with digitalization in order to create smarter operation. And by the way, at Schneider Electric, we keep on believing that the most sustainable energy is the one we do not use. Third pillar is about replacing resources. And this is coming with choices in favor of sustainable packaging, of eco-friendly products, and also making choices related to innovations in favor of innovations which are optimizing space, for instance, or reducing the usage of materials. Last pillar is about engaging all the value chain, as I said earlier, making sure that not only advanced suppliers are part of this journey, but also all the value chain players, in particular, engaging inside circular business practices, for instance. So when it comes to decarbonization, you know, this is something on which we should act all along the business life cycle. At Schneider Electric, for instance, we offer complete integrated solutions from endpoints to cloud to our end user customers that gets implemented all along this business life cycle, from design and build to operate and maintain. And for sure, the partner ecosystem is absolutely key in implementing this and contributing to this journey. So by the way, Rowan, I'm sure you can share with us an example where we engage with partners to reach some sustainable goals.
Absolutely. Let me make sure I'm not on. Okay, I want to make sure I'm not on mute. Absolutely, Sylvain. Let's just take an example of Intensity, which is our new flagship building, which is located in Grenoble, that you and I have both been to. Central part of a big plan to drive Schneider Electric's facilities, right? So this is just a flagship example, but we're looking to do that across our entire operations, like you mentioned. The aim is to reduce the overall carbon footprint. So what we are proud of is it's one of the most efficient buildings in Europe, if not the world. It's 10 times more efficient. Think about it, 10 times more efficient than the average building in Europe. It's so efficient that 4,000 solar panels, 2 wind turbines on the roof are enough to power the entire building and share the excess energy with other neighborhood buildings. There's an intelligent building, so the building intelligence makes it more possible, and it collects over 60,000 data points, and it optimizes. So think of it like a learning building where real time it's optimizing the energy consumption versus the usage of this energy. If we take a step back, this wouldn't have been possible without our ecosystem of partners. So this was done, built, deployed with our including eco experts, our partners, and it ensures that all the way through the project, like you said, from design, build to operate, maintain, we're able to go share this information, make it learning, and drive it. In fact, the collaboration has allowed us to reach a lead score of 103, if you can believe that, 103, which is one of the highest in the world. So I think this absolutely is a flagship and certainly quite an achievement.
Wow, indeed, looks like a really strong achievement, I would say. You know what I like in this example, like many others, by the way, is that Intensity is really highlighting, you know, how we love to engage with partners in everything we do at Schneider Electric. So by the way, we do believe that nobody, no company, no single company can do it alone, can achieve it alone. That's for sure. And this is why collaboration, openness, simplicity, and trust was quoted earlier, are key values for collective success. And by the way, they are the guiding principle that are guiding us in the way we expect to interact with our partners, right? So for sure, you know, decarbonizing the economy is certainly a strong effort, but at the same time, it's a huge opportunity for business, for our partners, for our ecosystem. And time to act is really now. So the sooner the better, so that we collectively, together with partners, we do not miss out. Guess what? You know, 80% of partners are looking for best-in-class technology providers in order to support their business transformation. And almost 40% of them, already 40% of them, have already started to engage sustainable actions to improve their competitive profile, already 40%. So it means a shift is really taking place. And at Schneider Electric, we are so delighted to partner for this impacting journey.
Thank you, Sivan. And I want to thank you also again, Rohan, Shonadip, and Marta. So what I can understand is actually the partner program, the partner awards is only the start. And then we need to act now with our partner together. With Schneider Electric as your partner, actually you can accelerate your decarbonization journey and then secure your position as a leader to sustainability in your market. Now, I think we still have some time, so we can take some of the questions here. So the first question is about priorities for sustainability are different in the different parts of the world. So how is Schneider Electric helping with actions required in the different markets? And how is Schneider Electric able to provide such customized support to our customers? So maybe Rohan, as the global division leader, can you take this one?
And it's a very important question, and frankly, thankfully, to the way our Schneider business is set up, which is even though we're a global company, it's highly local. We're able to go respond to these local needs, and you have to keep in mind that even though we talk about sustainability at a global level, the way business is done, the way regulations are driven, the way local customers behave is done at a very on the ground level at a very local level, right? So we fortunately have the setup where while we have the global R&D and the platforms, the business is done at a very local level, and we have. I mean, just to drive my point, people think that United States is local. Actually, United States is not local. You can think about the requirements in Texas versus California versus Florida are very different. So you have to be hyper local to understand the regulations, to understand the geographies, the particular needs. So we're able to do that. I think the second thing is we've taken the view that green packaging is a must. So all our new products, it's mandatory that we have green packaging across all these big product lines, so we continue to drive it. I'll give a couple of examples. Think our Masterpacked MTZ, right? So we have a circular Masterpacked MTZ that we have deployed in France because it's something that is important for that region, really in Western Europe. And what I'll tell you, I'm really proud to say it saves about 600 kilograms of almost a ton, let's say, of embodied carbon in each MTZ, right? So this is how powerful it is, and all our customers love it. You already talked about FlexSet. There is the business model change, but we're also using Lark, who's a partner, to say not only recyclable but also reusable containers. So the partners who they love this, they're able to go take the same packaging, fold it back, send it to us, and we can reuse it. So again, really some great examples of things that are done locally. Another example would be, through our partners, which are really using paperless commissioning, installation, and maintenance. So GatherGates is a panel builder in Singapore that are using our digital logbook as an opportunity to get rid of paper, which, by the way, is a huge opportunity for us. So again, 3 different examples locally, and that's how business is done. So back to you, Grace.
Thank you, Rohan. So this is why in Schneider we say we are the most local global company. And then the next question is about our partners. So actually this question is about, to which level we see our partner have been putting the focus on the sustainability and what is the awareness level so far. So maybe Sivan, I think you can take this one because you're working so closely with all the partners.
Yeah, sure. Thank you, Grace. So frankly speaking, this is really increasing day after day. It's obvious from all the discussions we have with them, and it came really strongly obvious to me something like a little bit more than 1 year ago. We regularly run innovation contests internally at Schneider Electric. Something like 18 months ago, we had partners as the key members of the jury for this innovation contest. So this innovation contest is gathering engineering teams, quality team, industrialization teams, and we had partners as the key members of the jury. Guess what? All the winning innovations were related with sustainability and decarbonization. So it's really a kind of absolute evidence that they care about sustainability, they care about decarbonization. And as Marta highlighted earlier, in Europe, for instance, a huge portion now of RFP are embedding sustainability and decarbonization goals in the assessment. So since our partners are fronting customers, it's a no-brainer. They have to deal with it.
Yeah. So as you said, actually what we see is actually our partners, they are also competing with each other, right? Because they all want to be as fast as they can in the journey of sustainability. So actually, I think the next question is very interesting. This is about the partner awards, which we just announced. So the question is to ask, how does this sustainability impact award help with partners' success? And what is the value of the recognition? So I think maybe Shanadeep, but this one is for you, I think. Shanadeep, are you still with us?
Awesome. Well, Grace, the Schneider Electric Sustainability Impact Awards are a great value for recognition. And let me tell you, there's 5 reasons I can think of. Reason number 1 is by winning these awards or being recognized, it sets your company apart from competition, because we all know that customers are making decisions right now on sustainability. They're being pressured by investors. They're being pressured by the communities that they're in. It's really, really important. The second one is to showcase the capabilities of this through customer stories and case studies. That's one of the big outputs that we're going to be creating through this awards program, is really showcasing the stories and how the technology is actually working to bring sustainability impact and decarbonization. The third thing is, of course, after that, is to help enhance the reputations with customers and peers. So that's really, really important too. And increasing future partnership opportunities, because now with those stories in the space, in the internet and beyond, that recognition transcends and basically helps enable others to know about the great work that our partners are doing. And then lastly, it's just leveraging the recognition to attract new business and serve as a growth driver for more of those solutions to get propagated and for us to continue to achieve those huge decarbonization goals. Grace, back to you.
Thank you, Shanadeep. So it's very clear that there's no reason why they cannot join for this program. So, and then I think we have another question is about why should a partner start the journey to sustainability, and whether this should be a self-start or this should be driven by their clients. Marta, because you have a very extensive experience here, so what is your opinion on this one?
Great. Thank you, Grace, and a very good question. So, in my opinion, based on the research that IDC has been conducting, I would certainly recommend self-starting as a way to deliver the most benefits, really. Remember that if you wait too long, there is a cost of inaction beyond the economic consequences of not being compliant, for example. So acting too late can make your organization become less competitive and less attractive as well than your peers to customers and to investors, right? Don't forget the importance of the investors and their focus the last few years on sustainable corporations as well. The second point to remember here is that you also need to make sure you can walk the talk and prove your sustainability credentials in a transparent manner, actually. What you have to remember is that greenwashing activities are becoming very visible, and in some countries are leading to financial fines as well. So, be careful with greenwashing. Whatever you do, be genuine and be honest about it. And remember that by leading the trend, you can establish yourself as a sustainability expert in your market as well, or at least someone who is leading the trend. And finally, really remember that early adoption brings immediate differentiation, as we've been saying during today's session, but also a long-term reputational value as well with your customers, with your investors, with your partners, with your wider stakeholders, and with your employees as well, of course.
Thank you. Thanks a lot, Mada. So actually we have 1 minute. So I think we have one last very interesting question. This is not about our partner, but this is about our supplier. So one important part of sustainability is the deep inclusion of supply workforce. So maybe Rohan, I think this one can be for you. Any comments from you, on what actually the Fortune 100 company are doing for now on this one, to engage our supplier, because we also work with our supplier.
No, I'll give you an example, and us being a Fortune 100 company, we can take ourselves as an example. I think there has been a very active engagement, one to educate, right? So a lot of our suppliers are just like Marta said, they're coming to us and saying, "Okay, I'm bought in. Okay, I know you need me to have certain goals towards decarbonization. I want to do it. What do I do?" Right. So first part of it is to get them started on the journey is the education, and we obviously got a consulting business, but really have the thought leadership inside our company to be able to say, how do you start, how do you track? I think the second one then becomes how do you accelerate, right? So for example, if you think about a lot of our suppliers, and we call it scope 1 and scope 2, by the way, in the McKinsey framework, you think about um, what is the source of those carbon emissions. A lot of times it has to do with the generation side. We're able to go drive solutions that we work together with the partners, with the suppliers, to help them understand, one, what is their source of carbon, like Shanadeep said earlier. How can we optimize that, whether it's through PPAs, whether it's through offsets, through credits. Sometimes you have suppliers that are not at scale, right? So we're able to pool some of these and really able to go help them drive it. That's the starter, right? Then you get back to okay, once you go there, now what do they need to do inside their operations once you've solved kind of the short-term problem, and then continue to go drive it. So really, it's been a journey, continues to be a journey. I think a big opportunity for us as as a player in this space, and as one of those companies, to really take it to heart, help our suppliers, and then pay it forward.
Thank you, Rohan. Thanks. So now we really approaching to the end of our session. I want to thank you all the speakers today for sharing the big news and also the very insightful discussion on sustainability. Thank you for staying with us for this session. And then as the next step, please join us for the program. Please apply for the awards application, and then we can accelerate our journey together towards the sustainability, and let's future-proof it for life. Thank you.
Thank you.
Life. It's full of surprises. It's hard to anticipate both the opportunities and the risks, but you can prepare yourself and future-proof your business. Future-proof it for more efficient and sustainable operations. Future-proof it for last-minute changes. Future-proof it with a partnership that helps you reach new heights. Woohoo! Because your business is your future. So get ready to capture new market opportunities with simplified tools and a streamlined partner experience. Open collaboration with like-minded partners with our EcoStruxure platform, integrating software, products, and services. And digital innovation that transforms and propels your business. We can't predict the future, but we can help you. So you can succeed in tomorrow's world. Grow your business now and future-proof it for life.